Dr. Finney, you know you're muted, correct?
I do, thank you. Good evening, families, and thank you for joining us. We will begin in just one moment. We're just going to give everyone a few moments to join our Zoom webinar for this evening. Okay, and so it seems like our participants have slowed down entry, and so we will start with interpretation. And so if our Spanish interpreter could begin first, letting families know that Spanish interpretation is available.
Buenas noches y bienvenido a la presentación esta noche respecto al asesoramiento académico para el español. Oprime el globo en la parte inferior en su computadora y escoja el español. El icono cambia a español. En su celular, favor oprimir el globo, escoja Internet para el audio y luego los 3 puntitos para seleccionar español. Gracias.
Thank you. And if our Arabic interpreter could do the same.
مساء الخير، نشكركم جميعا على حضوركم معنا هذا الاجتماع اليوم. بنحب ننوه بأنه هذه الاجتماع مزود باللغات الترجمة الفورية. إذا كنتوا عم تشاهدونا من التليفون، رجاء الضغط على إشارة ال3 نقاط بأسفل الشاشة واختيار اللغة المناسبة لكم، وهي اللغة العربية بهالحالة للسماع واختاروا السماع عبر الإنترنت، وبعدين اختيار اللغة العربية للسماع مباشرة. وإذا كنتوا عم تحضرون من الكمبيوتر، رجاء الضغط على إشارة الكرة الأرضية اللي بأسفل الشاشة، وكمان لاختيار اللغة المناسبة، بعدين السماع عبر الإنترنت، وكمان اختيار اللغة المفضلة لكم. وشكرا مرة تانية على الحضور.
Thank you. And if our Amharic interpreter could share that interpretation is available.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it sounded longer than what I expected. So I introduce myself and tell them what to click.
But yes, if you could just let our families know that it's Amharic interpretation is available if they press the interpretation button at the bottom. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. አማርኛ ትርጉም ስለምሰጥ አማርኛ መስማት የምትፈልጉ ሁሉ አማርኛውን በመጫን አማርኛ ፈልጋለሁ የሚለውን በመጫን ልታዳምጡን ትችላላችሁ። ስለዚህ የተለያዩ ሰዎች ፓናሉን ያቀርቡላችኋል። ሁሉንም እኔ በየተራ ተረጉምላችኋለሁ ማለት ነው። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I am going to go ahead and start interpretation. And then I'll go ahead and share my screen and welcome families to our webinar for this evening. This is a brief but informative webinar. And so to start, my name is Dr. Pierrette Finney, and I am the Chief Academic Officer for Alexandria City Public Schools. And we're here joined this evening by several members of the Teaching, Learning, and Leadership Department, as well as the middle school and high school administrative teams and directors of counseling. And so we scheduled this webinar very strategically with Parent Conference Night because we know that many of you attended parent conferences today and learned a lot about how your children are performing in school, but also probably learned a lot about the academies and pathways for your 8th graders who are rising up to high school, and then also for your current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders who will be immersed in our academies at Alexandria City next year. And so you will notice that our logo has remained the same. It is still the Titan head that you've all grown to love and know very well. But we will be featuring our academies next year. And so as we continuously plan for the opening of our academies during the 2024-2025 school year, we want to make sure that our families are staying informed and up to date on the academic advisement process. And then you'll also notice that Mr. Alexander Duncan, your executive principal for Alexandria City High School, is here with us this evening as well. For our presentation overview, we're going to again give you an introduction to the academies at Alexandria City. we're going to give you a review of the academies and pathways. And so if you have been following the high school project since its inception, and when we started doing presentations with the school board in the fall, you're very familiar with the journey that we have taken from the beginning up until now. We'll also share with you what the academic advisement process is looking like at the secondary schools, particularly for 8th grade, and then also at the high school. And then we have some videos featuring some of our students to share with you about the excitement that's around the development of the academies and pathways. And so the purpose behind why the academies and pathways have come to where they are today is because of 3 words: connectedness, belonging, and passion. You know, we looked at our student population of 4,500 students and wanted to create ways that students felt connected to school, felt a sense of belonging in school, but also felt a sense of passion about school. And so through this work, we have collaboratively created personalized learning experiences that will allow our Alexandria City High School students engage in small learning communities that will also help them foster college and career readiness. And so our launch date is approaching. It is going to launch in the 24-25 school year, and we're very excited about that. And another thing that we're very excited about is the fact that both the Minnie Howard and King Street campuses will both be grades 9 through 12 campuses. And so if you happen to drive along Braddock Road, you will see this beautiful building that is starting to immerse next to the old Minnie Howard. I had an opportunity to do a preliminary tour of it yesterday, and it is a beautiful building, and it will reach substantial completion as of April and be ready for our students to for their arrival when they come in the fall. And so I will now turn it over to Carmen Sanders, who is our Executive Director of Instructional Support, who will give you more information about how we're envisioning the high school structure.
Good evening to all of our families that are viewing this evening. As Dr. Finney mentioned, we are envisioning the high school structure as a framework for the future. We know that Alexandria City High School is made up of 4 campuses: the King Street campus, the Minnie Howard campus, the Satellite campus, and the Chance for Change campus. And those specific areas focus on concentration and specific content areas. And it is our hope that students are exploring their opportunities through the College and Career Center and through the work that they do with their counselors. Our academies will now be an umbrella structure of instructional and programmatic themes that are centered around a specified field or concentration area. And so the idea is for students to find learning concepts that are interesting to them and that they are passionate about, and take structured courses in these programs and in these fields. And then that leads to the learning pathway. And so these are specifically customized to meet the needs of our learners. And so it is the course sequence or the courses that students see on their schedules, along with the resources and experiences that are needed for graduation and to obtain, if desired, a industry credential or certification. These are flexible and adaptable. We want our students to be able to engage in multiple areas of interest. And our goal is to create smaller learning communities through this process. And so that is the culmination of all 4 years of students' high school experience, and ensuring that it is supportive and it is a place where they feel connected, where they can collaborate, and where they can grow. And this will be done through the structure of advisory, through specific academy-themed courses, as well as electives within the high school.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. And then regarding our academies that we'll be offering next year, we have 6 academies to include the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Academy, Business and Government Academy, our Education, Liberal Arts, and Human Services Academy, Visual Performing and Applied Arts Academy, our Global Studies Academy, and then also our General Studies Academy. And so I'm going to stop share for a moment. We have an exciting video to share with you about how our middle schoolers are excited about the new academies that we will be starting in the fall. And I just need to add the audio so that we can share the sound. All righty, there we go.
I feel like what really interests me is photography and art as well, because when I was like little, it was always like my favorite things to do were to take pictures. I also took classes in photography, so it's really just something that I know how to do on the side. So I feel like after I finish my Spanish course, that would be another course that I would like to take.
I was really interested in AVID. I've been wanting to take AVID. I know I learned the things they help out with in getting into college, and I really just, both of my parents didn't go to college, so I wanted to, be the first to go. Another thing that really stuck out to me was the nursing thing, the class that I was to become a nurse and go into the medical field and stuff like that.
I thought the presentation was very informative, and I was very interested in the STEM program and just like the general science.
I'm very excited about the Governor's Health Science program. I think it'd be really interesting to learn more about the health, and the college credits that it gives you would be really interesting, as well as the STEM program, and some of the electives sound really fun.
Classes that interested me were probably business management, because I want to be a real estate, so I think that business management could help with that.
I already have a good understanding of what type of classes that I want to take when I get into high school, as I'm very interested in career paths involved in business or technology. However, she did show me some other options that I seem interested in, such as finance, something that I might want to look at, and business development. So there's a few options, but it seems really exciting, and I'm very excited to learn about these new topics.
The most exciting thing I'm looking forward to is all the medical fields, because I want to be a trauma surgeon in the Army, and I thought it had a lot of great opportunities to be able to learn more about both the combat field and the medical field. Our OTC program interests me because they teach you about leadership and skills that could help you in the field and step up when bad things happen.
I'm excited to continue going into AVID, and I also was very excited when I seen the band. That really interested me.
I'm excited to try out new electives, since here we only have band or Spanish and art, and there we have different languages. So I'm excited to try out new languages, and I heard there was fashion, and I'm really interested in fashion.
I was really interested in the STEM and business management classes and the academies, because I would love to go into engineering, like aerospace engineering, and business degree is very helpful for college.
And so there's a lot of excitement around what the academies will offer for our students. And so I will turn it back over to Ms. Sanders, who will share with us about the different pathways.
Thank you, Dr. Finney. And so, as Dr. Finney mentioned, there are 6 approved academies and pathways within the academies in Alexandria City this year. And so within each particular academy, there are learning paths. I want to be clear in saying that although you see the pathways there, within each specialized pathway, there may be paths that students can go down. For example, we have health sciences, but we know that in health sciences, students could explore nursing, they can explore sports management, and other areas of interest. And so we have STEM Academy, Business and Government Academy, Education, Liberal Arts and Human Services, Visual, Performing, and Applied Arts, Global Studies, and our General Studies Academy, which we are considering our on-ramp. So for students who are unsure what they want to do in regards to their academy or pathway, students will take their interdisciplinary studies, and so that will be their core content classes, English, math, social studies, science, along with their electives, and be given opportunities through advisory to explore pathways so that they can make their decision in their 10th grade year. Thank you, Dr. Finney.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. And so while much of this information may be information that you've heard before, what we would like to share with you now is what the process is actually, what the process actually looks like for your student as they are developing their schedules and their courses for next year and deciding on their academies and pathways. And so we will begin to talk about academic advisement within our secondary schools. And so we have our directors of counseling here who will share with you what that process looks like. And so now I will turn it over to Brianna Hardaway, who's our Director of Counseling for Alexandria City High School.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to share a little bit about what has been taking place. As Dr. Finney said, myself and the Assistant Director of School Counseling, Mrs. Barita Mateo Spindinelli, is on with us as well. We've been working hard for ACHS, Minnie Howard, and in conjunction with our middle schools. Starting December 8th, we began sharing academic advisement information as sort of a kickoff for the school year 2024-2025 with our students and families via Parent Square, Canvas, and other ACPS communication platforms. During the months of December and January, we shared links to various lessons and resources to assess career interests and provide an overview of the academic advisement process, in addition to reviewing course offerings and the academies and pathways that Ms. Sanders just reviewed with us. We also held an in-person and virtual academic fair for the King Street campus, and we made that available to all families for Minnie Howard and our rising freshman students to view at their leisure. High school counselors presented to 8th grade students in the month of January to share information about the high school and course selections, programming, various electives, and opportunities that they'll have to engage. Teachers provided course recommendations, and we call that academic days of emphasis, where teachers took the opportunity to speak with students in their classes about the courses they believe they should take the next year in the various content areas. Families were also able to enter course selections in PowerSchool this year to have those conversations in advance regarding courses that they would like to take for next year. And then on January 24th, we held our academic information and curriculum night. It was well attended. We answered a lot of questions. Parents were able to obtain a lot of information. And we also followed up with email that Friday, and we shared out various resources and links that we went over on that evening. And then starting January 29th into March, high school counselors are meeting with students individually to review students' courses of study, select academy and pathway preferences, review academic and career plans for our 10th grade students, and confirm course selections for the 2024-2025 school year. And we just want to re-emphasize that during this process, students are able to confirm their academy and pathway preferences because some parents were worried when the Qualtrics survey closed that they wouldn't have the opportunity. So I just want to assure everyone that counselors are taking the time to review that information carefully with each of their students. Thank you.
Thank you, high school. Thank you, high school team and parents. So if you do have a high schooler, please make sure you ask them about their academy and pathway preferences and about the courses that they're signing up for next year, because this process is taking place right now. And so it's a great opportunity for our parents to be involved in the choices that their children are making. And so we also have our comprehensive middle school team here today with Greg Forbes, who's the Director of Counseling for George Washington Middle School, and Jessica Harris, who's the Director of Counseling for Francis C. Hammond Middle School.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Dr. Finney. As Ms. Hardaway already said, there have been a number of programs that we have already hosted and provided to families and students regarding rising ninth grade options. In January, high school counselors, staff, and current high school students, which was a real treat, visited both GW and Hammond to hold 8th grade Titan Rising assemblies, which covered a number of topics. There was an overview provided of the high school and their respective campuses, the academic advisement process, high school diploma and graduation requirements, similarities and differences among our classes, particularly with our honors, AP, dual enrollment, enrollment, yes, an explanation of all of the academies and pathways that Ms. Sanders has shared with you this evening, as well as all of the courses that are available to all of our 9th graders and our programs, such as health sciences and our AVID programs, and when those applications are due, and what students or which students might want to apply for those programs. Our 8th grade counselors have been busy going into classes to provide classroom lessons to all 8th grade students, which included a review of all of the things that they learned in the Titan Rising Assembly, specifically highlighting the Academy and Pathway program and course options. Students also completed the required academic and career plan, which is a personal learning plan and course of study that aligns with students' academic and career goals as required by the Virginia Department of Education. As part of the lessons, students also completed the Strengths Explore and Naviance, which assesses 10 talent themes for individuals and identifies each student's 3 strongest emerging talents, such as confidence, dependability, and future thinker. It provides explanations of the themes, strategies for capitalizing on each, and action items to help students gain insight into their greatest talents, natural patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior to leverage in the classroom and in life. Counselors then asked students to complete a graphic organizer as part of the lesson, where students had to use their results from the Strengths Explorer and then look through the program of studies to find which classes match their strengths. From January 29th to February 2nd, families had an opportunity to select and choose their desired courses in PowerSchool, which was a new feature this school year and academic advisement season. When 8th grade counselors meet with students individually, which is happening now all the way through March 14th, counselors will review with students the courses that they chose and entered into PowerSchool for their rising 9th grade year, if they indeed completed that task. They will also review the historical and current classroom academic performance, as well as their testing performance, such as SOLs, map data, fall and winter growth, benchmarks, etc., to help best advise students. They also will review with students the results of their Strengths Explorer, as well as all of the courses that are offered in high school that best align to those strengths. And then counselors will assist students with selecting their academy and pathway, which will be entered into PowerSchool. And as Ms. Hardaway mentioned, when students select their courses in academy and pathway, it does help us gauge and help build the master schedule for the following school year. But these selections are not binding. And as students learn more about the academies and pathways, and as they learn more about the courses that are available, all they need to do is reach out to their 8th grade school counselor at their respective middle schools, and our counselors are happy to assist and update anything accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Forbes. And then, of course, representing our K-8 schools, we have Assistant Principal Tiffany Young, who is the Assistant Principal at Jefferson Houston. And so she will talk about what academic advisement is looks like at the K-8 schools, which is very similar to our other two schools. Tiffany?
Good evening, families. I'm very honored to share the information that we have about our academic advisements at our K through 8 schools. As you know, with K through 8, we do have students who spend 9 years with us from kindergarten through 8th grade. And so we began in 5th grade where our counselors review the course selections with students, and we make sure that we are very on top of looking at where our students are and the courses that they like. We look at their interests, and we do something very similar to what our traditional middle schools have shared. With our 5th grade students, our students are able to visit the encore classes and elective classes and get an overview of what they will see in middle school, realizing that our middle grades are stepping stones to our secondary schools. In 8th grade, again, we model what we see at our excellent traditional middle schools, with our 8th grade counselor meeting with our students individually to select the courses. We look in Navient. We also look at our academic career plans, and we make sure that we also look at academic scores in terms of SOLs. We look at MAP data, and we look at other assessment data to really help our students develop a plan for their next few years so that they are successful at the secondary schools. We also look at interest and career goals. We do goal setting planning, making sure that each student in our K through 8 schools have that go-to adult that they have to help them along their ways with looking at their plans and really, really thinking about what high school will be like for them. We think about the connectedness. We think about the belonging. We also consider each student's passion as we meet for academic advisement. So we're doing those same things that the middle schools are doing as well. And we continue to focus on using an academic plan and looking at what students really need so that they can be successful in our secondary grades.
Thank you, Ms. Young. And so where do we go from here? Of course, from January until March, we know that academic advisement is going to be continuing. We've been holding staff collaborative meetings. The high school team has been working very closely with the staff at the high school on the planning for the opening of the academies at Alexandria City. And of course, we're continuing to host our parent and community meetings. From March through April will be the master schedule development. And so that's the time when the counselors will take all of the courses that students have signed up for and arrange them in a schedule so that we know which students will be placed at Minnie Howard, which students will be placed at King Street. In May, staff will get their staff notifications of their campus locations. And then, of course, as with tradition, our student schedules will be sent during the summer of 2024. And so, of course, if you happen to have any questions about academic advisement or scheduling, we do encourage you to reach out to your school counseling team so that they can answer your individual questions. And so, as always, we do thank you for joining us for our webinar. This webinar will be, has been recorded and will be placed on the Alexandria City Public Schools website so that if you have friends who were not able to join us this evening or would like to view it again, it would be available for your viewing along with the presentation. And so again, if you happen to have individualized questions regarding academic advisement or have questions about your child's schedule, we do encourage you to reach out to your school's individual school counseling team. And so again, families, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, and please continue to stay connected with your school so that you can learn more about the Academies of Alexandria City. Thank you and have a great evening.